If you've ever felt that making and keeping friends is just harder for you than for everyone else, then you're in the right place. We're going to dive into the psychology behind having a really small, carefully chosen circle. And you're about to see why it's not a weakness at all, but actually a sign of something much, much deeper.
It's such a strange and lonely feeling, isn't it? You're surrounded by all this chatter and laughter, but you feel completely disconnected, almost like you're watching a movie that you're not really a part of. And listen, this isn't just about being shy. It's a fundamental mismatch between your inner world and the social scene that's buzzing all around you. And this, right here, is the most crucial point. For years, you might have been asking yourself, what's wrong with me? But the truth is, there's nothing wrong. Your mind is simply wired with a bit more depth, a bit more sensitivity than most. So, let's reframe this whole experience, starting right now.
So that brings us to our first big idea. The struggle to build friendships? It isn't a bug in your system. It's actually a core feature. It's the sign of a mind that processes the world with a pretty incredible intensity. And let me tell you, it is not your imagination. Your social life really can feel heavier. For you, every single interaction takes more processing, more energy, and it just carries more weight. And there are some very real psychological reasons for this.
So, where does this all start? Well, a lot of the time it begins with an almost allergic reaction to anything that feels inauthentic. This is one of the biggest, but also one of the most misunderstood reasons for keeping that circle small.
Think of your brain as having this highly advanced, built-in authenticity detector. It just immediately flags forced smiles, petty gossip, and those subtle manipulations. And the more you get to know yourself, the more your tolerance for that kind of behavior just plummets. You learn that you'd much rather have peace than have to pretend. And this right here, this is the great divide. Small talk about the weather can feel like a total waste of energy. And that's because your mind is literally wired for depth. You don't just want to pass the time. You want to connect over ideas and feelings and dreams. The stuff that actually matters. That's not being rude, it's just a craving for meaning. Wow, this really just says it all, doesn't it? The search isn't just for company to fill the silence. No, it's for that really rare connection where you feel seen, you feel understood, and you feel safe. And until you find that, silence often feels a whole lot better than pretending.
Okay, let's peel back another layer here, the cautious mind. This next part is for anyone whose brain just never seems to switch off after a social event. That highly active, analytical mind.
Does this little cycle look familiar to you? You have a conversation, and then for hours or maybe even days, your brain just hits replay over and over. You analyze every little detail, what you said, how they reacted, their tone. This hyper-awareness turns even the most casual hangouts into this high-stakes performance, and it is absolutely exhausting. There's actually a psychological term for that lifelong feeling of being just different. It's called social incongruence. It's basically when your unique way of seeing the world doesn't quite click with the people around you. And a lot of the time, this leads you to choose distance over the risk of being misunderstood yet again. And this is so important to remember too. If you've been hurt or maybe betrayed in the past, your brain naturally builds up a defense system. So you're not trying to push people away, you're being protective. You've learned the hard way that not everyone deserves access to your inner world, so you've learned to observe first and trust much, much later.
But what if we just shifted our perspective for a second? What if the very things that make socializing so difficult are also your greatest strengths? Let's talk about the power of independence.
Psychologists have a term for this called low social dependency, and all it means is that you don't need a crowd to feel good about yourself. You've learned how to solve your own problems and find real comfort in your own mind. This isn't being antisocial. This is being self-reliant. It's incredibly strong.
A great way to think about it is like a social battery. For an extrovert, socializing actually charges them up. But for a more sensitive nervous system, it's a really rapid drain. You're constantly processing so much information, tone of voice, body language, subtext, that your energy just gets used up way faster.
And because of that super fast drain, alone time becomes completely non-negotiable. It's not a luxury. It's the essential maintenance that your mind and your body need to recover and to function. It's how you come back to yourself.
But here's the upside. All of these traits, the sensitivity, the deep thinking, the independence, they cultivate this incredibly rich inner world. You notice details other people completely miss. You ponder things that others just ignore, and you feel with a depth that is both rare and honestly beautiful.
Okay, so this all leads us to our final and I think most powerful idea, the different kind of connection that you're capable of. It's about completely redefining what a successful social life even looks like.
I really want you to let this sink in. A small circle isn't a sign of failure. It is a sign of high standards. It's a reflection of your commitment to authenticity, to peace, and to genuine connection. You're just not willing to settle.
And that right there, that is the ultimate payoff. The connections you do make might take a little longer to form, but they're built on this amazing foundation of true understanding and respect. They aren't superficial. They are absolutely built to last.
And this is the heart of it all. Your sensitivity, your depth, your cautious nature, these aren't obstacles. They're the very tools that allow you to form the kind of profound, meaningful bonds that, frankly, a lot of people only dream of having.
So, I'll just leave you with this to think about. What if your ability to see right through the fake stuff, to crave what's real, and to connect on the deepest level, what if that isn't something that needs to be fixed? What if it's something to be celebrated? What if it's your own